Hello, listeners, and welcome to Spooky Time with Mike and Mindy.
Hi, spookers.
Hi, everyone.
In this episode, we got 2 announcements, which are our final announcements. The thing is, though, you're not going to hear this until probably a few days after the announcements.
Yep.
Just because we want to make sure we can give you a good episode.
Yeah.
There were announcements for a new show and a new house, but it's for a movie we have not yet seen. But we'll talk about that later, and we will have a movie review with spoilers in this episode as well. So, but let's start with the first announcement. Mike, what is it?
A Lagoon Show.
Yeah, it's called the Halloween Marathon of Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
I said that weird. Mayhem.
Mayhem. Ham.
Mayhem.
Yes, ma'am?
The picture looks gorgeous.
It does. So, playing to the theme of the 80s of this year, they are taking the IPs that they bought for this year, Killer Clowns, Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, and then their Universal.
Yeah, the monsters.
They're going to mash them up.
Yeah.
They're going to make them into a, fountain screen display extravaganza, apparently. So there is a show that's relatively new at Universal.
Yeah, I believe it's called Cinema Spectacular, and I've seen some YouTube clips of it. It features like Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, the things you see in the park, Men in Black, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So this show, I think, will only be available on Halloween Horror Nights, and they're doing it 3 times a night. So I don't think we're going to miss it.
Probably not. Yeah, it's at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and midnight.
Yeah, so I think we'll definitely be able to see this show. And I'm kind of excited. It's going to be in a spot where there's usually a scare zone around that entrance.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much where the Undead Vikings or Vikings Undead scare zone is going to be. So it'll be a little odd.
Well, I mean, they'll probably set it up right for crowd control. I mean, I don't know the logistics of everything, but in my brain, from what I know, I'm like, ugh, crowds, tight spaces.
I'm also wondering, too, how they're going to, in an open environment, because literally where this is in the middle of Universal Studios, there's just water. So how do they project the sound where it's not going to interfere with the nearby scare zones?
Yeah.
Or the nearby scare zones sound not interfering with the show?
That's a really good point.
Because it's in a big open environment. Another thing, too, is, you can hear... I remember from last year, there's like a bridge that kind of goes almost into the middle of the water.
Yeah.
Not by the Simpsons crossover.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I hung out for a bit when you were seeing the Academy of Villains show, and you could hear
Academy of
across
Villains
the water.
Loud,
you could hear Academy of Villains across the water. You could hear the Chainsaw Clowns across the water.
Yeah.
You could hear Killer Clowns from across the water. So the water, I don't know how it's going to work with all the sound.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It'll be...
Visually, obviously, you're going to look at it, and, your field of vision is only so much, so you'll feel immersed that way. But speaking sound-wise, I don't know how immersive it's going to be and or distracting.
Well, but also the projections are going to be a certain way. So, you can't just see it from anywhere.
That's true.
Too.
You're going to have to be viewing it from a certain perspective.
And if they have, it says special effects and things like that, and I believe Cinema Spectacular has, some sort of fire and that kind of stuff playing into it. So it's really interesting that they are doing a lagoon show during such an event where you need to be immersed in certain ways. So yeah, that's a really good point. I'm still excited for it, but I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
I'm most excited for synth.
I know. I was waiting for you to start talking about the music.
The description literally says, watch as the lagoon transforms with the spectacle of neon and synth.
So it's both of us love one of these things. I love neon,
I love synth.
You love synth.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for what this means.
Yeah. But what about all the bright lights and loud noises, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
You're so old.
I am so old. I guess we're going 3 nights, so
yeah,
we'll figure out a time, and
yeah,
I'm gonna probably have to make way for it. So I wonder how you Is there a way to like reserve seating? Do you just show up?
I
don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen like any packages or like dining or anything yet. They just announced it.
So, I have all these questions. Did you know that there's an official Universal Orlando Resort mobile app that provides updates and more information?
Yeah, or you can ask our wonderful travel agent, Whitney.
Whitney.
If you need details and how to contact her, let me know. But anyways.
Yeah, she's too famous, though.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out, if they're going to have packages or anything, because, I mean, like, who doesn't want to, like, make more money on people that don't necessarily need to spend the money? So I feel like a package of some kind is going to be released.
Yeah, food and priority seating or something.
Yeah. So I'll obviously watch for that. Did you have anything else to say about the light show? I mean, I feel
just that like wasn't expected, but makes sense.
It was rumored, so I kind of thought it was going to happen, but for the reasons that you said, like, it's loud, it's in the middle of everything, it doesn't exactly make sense to do it. So,
yeah, and, like, well, generally, like, it's a theme park, so certain lands have certain themes.
Mm-hmm.
But this event especially is theme and theme park, because you have scare zones that are outdoor environments that you're trying to make people feel immersed with. And then you're going to have this happen within earshot or eyeshot of
whatever,
like 3, Yeah. Like Vanity Ball will be right next to it, and so will Vikings Undead, and potentially, too, Hellbilly Deluxe.
Yeah,
because they're all right by the water.
If they blast Rob Zombie loud enough.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, I'm not quite sure how, but it's fine. I'm sure, they thought about it, and, they wouldn't do something that would be like a disaster or whatever. So I'm sure there's a way that they thought about it, and I'm excited to see it, I think.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see the show. The other thing that they announced in this same announcement is Terror Trivia is back.
Whoa.
We didn't really have a lot of time to play it last year, but I think this year
I think we tried to download the app while we were in line for the Halloween house, right?
I feel like I had the app, but it was very slow and glitchy, or just, it just wasn't working, or we felt
demoralized because, like, it's like, check the leader scores, and they're like 18 trillion, and we're like 50.
Well, yeah. So, but I remember last year seeing, like, the people that were high scores for that night, they had, like, some of their names projected on some of the screens around the park and stuff, cool. Which is really cool. So I think it's something we're probably going to try to play again this year.
Yeah, and so the Terror Trivia app is, like, trivia about the haunted houses that they have that year, history of Halloween Horror Nights. So, if you don't necessarily know a lot about Halloween Horror Nights, you will have some ability to know on the IPs, or if you don't know enough about the IPs, but you do know about Halloween Horror Nights, so kind of like just...
Or if you went through the houses and asked
exactly.
You something.
Like, so it gives you kind of a good range of questions that they ask.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into the last house announcement.
The 10th and last house announcement.
Ever wonder how many corpses you can fit inside a house? 1, 10, do we dare say 1,000? Find out at Halloween Horror Nights with House of 1,000 Corpses, the new haunted house based on Rob Zombie's horror masterpiece. This fall, you'll discover firsthand why this house is built on horror. Come face to face with the psychotic Firefly family and their collection of blood and gore. Watch the legend of Dr. Satan come to life right before your eyes. Keep a lookout for the latest addition to Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, Fish Boy, and if you're lucky, you'll escape the house as fast as a rabbit, minus the fluffy bunny costume and tragic ending.
So, House of 1,000 Corpses has been announced.
Yup, this one was heavily rumored pretty much since forever. I
feel like since the last Halloween Horror Nights ended, people have been like, House of 1,000 Corpses. And I was like, like they'll have Rob Zombie stuff. Boy, am I wrong, and I am excited.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, we decided to watch the trailer because this movie we haven't seen yet.
Very true.
Yeah. It came out in 2003, rated R. They were actually concerned that it was going to get an NC-17 rating or, you know, something even higher than that when they were releasing it, but it was actually only rated R. So, I read some fun facts.
Oh, yeah.
The movie is only 1 hour and 29 minutes long. I also found out that Rob Zombie, you know what? I'm going to hold that. I'm going to wait to talk about it till we get back after we watch the movie. But what did you think about the trailer?
I mean, I feel like there's certain people that are going to listen to this and just cringe and or laugh and or shake their heads and or facepalm. So
Yeah.
Here goes, folks. It strikes me as like an air quotes modern take, you know, at the time, 2003, of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I got the most vibes from. It's like a family element of crazy stalker killer people.
But like with clowns freak show type of elements
instead
of like
but a little bit differently. But the same setup of a family of people that are psychotic, that, you know, murder people.
Cannibalistic and things like that,
Yeah,
probably.
pretty much.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like the movie I am most scared of. I don't like people getting hurt or eaten or worn
by other people.
Yeah.
So I feel like this movie's probably going to be a lot for you then.
Yeah. Although the trailer made it seem like it's also like fun though, whereas like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just horrifying because it's not as crazy. You know what I mean?
I do feel like, you know, the macabre humor, you know, of like, I would think like Rob Zombie. Like, I think that's going to come through in this, like, you know, it's not meant to be funny, but it's a thing you could find funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm really drawn to like the colors and the way that this is like shot and stuff. Like, it looks like it's a really interestingly done and like kind of pretty movie in a way, but like made to look old at the same time.
Well, that's why I felt like Texas Chainsaw, because of the setup and then also too the style of how the film and the way that they chose to shoot the certain camera angles or the color choices or any of that. It made it feel like it's kind of like classic, as in like 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And same thing too with Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe album, right? I mean, he's very much, you can tell, heavily influenced by that batch of horror movies.
Well, and we did listen to the soundtrack yesterday a little bit for House of a Thousand Corpses, and I've heard some of these songs before, and I'm still excited because they're Rob Zombie. Like, I'm excited. So but also nervous because I know I'm gonna be scared.
It's not a movie I would go out of my way to see, but with this house announcement, it's going to make me see it. So like out of my comfort zone, right? But I would not normally indulge.
I am also excited about this announcement too, because I was saying in like the last announcement or the announcement before that it's just not that scary of a year for me. But this house is gonna make it really scary.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm excited because I need at least one of those houses that is just like terrifying. I mean, that's why you go.
Yeah, it's
right?
just too much for you. Pushes you.
Yeah, like puts you out of your comfort zone.
Pushes
and
you
like,
past your limits.
Yeah, because like that rush of adrenaline, like it's so crazy. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really fun, and I can't wait to see like how things play out. But we do have to watch the movie first before we can really make any speculation, since we don't really know the movie.
Right. So yeah, we definitely wanted to watch the movie so we had a bit more to say.
Yeah.
And what we think could be there, what we're excited for. But I will say this, though, if we're talking about the trailer and we're going to go to the part where we're probably going to watch it next, I don't want to miss the opportunity to say that freaking Dwight Schrute is in this.
Every time I type my name, it says diapers.
Why did no one tell me? I had no idea Rainn Wilson is in this.
Yeah.
So
my guess is he doesn't last long since nobody really talks about it, and like he's like far down on the list, but I kind of hope he's in it
unlike
long.
On IMDb's list, he's like almost listed last.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
is it alphabetical maybe? Because his last name's a W. No, it's not. Okay.
it's definitely not at all.
Well, I am excited. That makes me a lot more excited to watch this movie too, just because I love him.
Yeah,
so.
It's got Dwight in it. How bad could it be?
Exactly. So with that, there will be spoilers in the second half, but along with speculation of what we expect to see in the house based off of the movie. So we're going to leave you right now with the movie description, and we'll be back after that.
Two young couples traveling across the backwoods of Texas searching for urban legends of murder end up as prisoners of a bizarre and sadistic backwater family of serial killers.
And we're back.
So, remember when I was like, this year isn't that scary?
For you?
Yeah.
For the houses that were currently announced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Thoughts now?
Spoilers. If you're gonna watch this movie and don't want spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to process what I just saw, but I will say that I loved it, but I never want to see it again.
Oh, sure.
Like, I loved how it was all done. I loved the colors. I loved how it was, like, old in parts, and, like, I loved that.
A bit retro.
Yeah,
and,
but still, like, newer. Like, it was just, like, mixed media all within one movie, and I loved the colors and the music, and, like, I definitely was, like, in suspense and scared through a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great horror movie, for sure, and I am excited for the house. I'm just not sure how many times I'll be able to handle going through the house.
I can say this, which is that I am absolutely, unequivocally, completely excited for this house.
I know. I was assuming you loved it.
Like, so excited.
Yeah.
For this house. The movie...
Let's talk movie first and then house.
Yeah. The movie, I think it's about what I was expecting.
I don't know what I was expecting.
It's about what I was expecting.
Yeah.
The movie felt like a visual portrayal of Rob Zombie's music.
Yeah.
Which is like a mixed up, weird menagerie of like words spliced with themes, spliced with imagery, spliced with...
Yeah.
So it absolutely made sense. I mean, it was kind of like ADD, horror, like messed up, a brain not necessarily firing correctly, like all the just imagery just blasting into your brain for like no reason whatsoever, just showing up.
Yeah, and like now that I'm on drugs, prescription drugs, and can't drink anymore, this is a very weird movie for me to watch. It's
jarring a bit.
Yeah. I feel like before, if I had like a drink and like whatever, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool, no big deal. But like now that I'm like sober and like more of mind, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So, and like going through the house is gonna be weird for me because it's the first year I'm going sober, and like this house is gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
But, we're not talking House. But yeah, the movie was so crazy. But I loved it.
Yeah, I liked the way that they went about and did everything. So they definitely did, like, splicing.
Yeah.
So they had moments where it was just, like, the individual characters kind of monologuing to the camera and then splicing back to, like, the main central movie, the theme, right?
So what did you think of the story and the theme? I think we should kind of explain it a little bit.
As best we can.
Yeah, it's a bit messed up.
It is.
Essentially, it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because there was a guy at a gas station who helped, like, get kids over to the killers that would, like, just, like, send them to this crazy medical guy in the basement, which isn't, like, the same, but it's pretty much the same, but crazier.
Yeah, a bit. So there's, like, the unassuming, unsuspecting, or what am I trying to say? Like, not suspicious looking gas station, right? On the side of the road, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? And,
these kids are trying
the people seem normal but quirky, and you're like, oh, you write it off. And then they give you directions, or they feed information to the people that actually, like, then grab you. So there's, like, the front, like, with the mob or the mafia, right? Like, there's the front, where it's a legitimate business, and then there's the back where they do all the murdering and stuff, and law breaking.
Yeah, so there's this Firefly family who captures and tortures teens, pretty much.
Whoever stumbles upon them.
Yeah, and then we'll take a few of them and, like, send them down into the ground to Dr. Satan, who apparently was running this insane asylum and then was shut down, and they tried to hang him, but then his body was gone the next day. So they must have, like, hidden him in their tunnel underground cave system that they had at this farm.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I thought
which makes sense. So he was in, like, an insane asylum. So obviously, like, this family is probably the result of some of the inmates,
or his. I don't know. Right. I mean, I don't know. They didn't get into that part. If they ever make a second one, maybe we'll learn about the family tree.
Oh, they didn't, like, go through and really, truly put out the genealogy.
Yeah. Maybe there's, like, speculation online or something we can look into later.
I'm sure there is. Well, and with any great movie, you don't have to have all the answers.
Right.
Sometimes it's better if you
don't.
And
I'm fine that I don't. I thought the movie was really good. It was really well done.
Yeah, I thought they did it. I thought they did it well.
I thought the acting was awesome because they were all insane.
Well, and as odd as this sounds, right? Endearing in their own way. Like, the characters were endearing in and of themselves, even the ones that did the horrific, grotesque things.
I felt for Tiny the most. Like, he was, like, locked in this basement thing.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, he had to do what they told him to, but he didn't really want to do it and wasn't really interested in doing any of it, but he just kind of did it because he had to.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt for him the most. And I swear I thought the guy at the beginning that was running the gas station was going to be a good guy, and he came by at the end and picked up the one chick, because she obviously escaped, and then she did not escape.
Yeah, well, obviously, Captain Spaulding, like, the best. Most iconic character of the movie. Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved his America outfit. I loved the murder ride that was part of the gas station. Like, it was like a off-road
low budget tourist trap. Ridiculous.
And it was like, he literally just called it, like, a murder ride. And, like, it was, like, murders with, like, bad animatronics and stuff. And I loved it. And, like, the cart, like, he actually had to have someone push them in the cart through the tracks.
Yeah.
So I thought that was amazing. And, like, I did really enjoy this movie, but it is just, it's a lot to watch.
No, it definitely is. It is a lot. But, like, that being said, I'm glad I finally had a reason to see it, because it's not something I would have ever sought out on my own.
Right.
Because, like, for the most part, I knew what it was going to be, and it's about exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I am glad that, Halloween Horror Nights decided to have this house, which then prompted me to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I saw it, but...
Well, I'm definitely going to be more scared of the house now knowing the entire story. I feel like this is one of those houses, if you don't know the full story, it's still going to be scary, but it's not going to be as horrifying as, like, you really knowing what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I just, like, man, Rob Zombie's, I don't know, the word... just like his style or like the way that he does it, right?
Sure.
So the movie's name even, right? House of 1,000 Corpses. Well, that never gets addressed. They don't tell you how many corpses there are, you know what I mean? And like...
Well, there's definitely a lot of crosses outside.
There's a lot of imagery and a lot of bones and a lot of stuff. And I just... It plays to... I honestly feel like it's all about like his childhood and his upbringing and all of the low-budget, B-scary movies that he saw when he was coming of age, right? That influenced him. And so he's creating all of these things, the music, the movies, the imagery, based off of that as an homage to it and also living through it. And so just the way that the movie's just, bombastiously named like House of 1,000 Corpses, it has nothing to do with it, really.
I feel like having it named House of something implies that it's like a fun house or something that, which is how it kind of is portrayed. And then having it say 1,000 corpses, it's meaning that this is an extreme film. So I feel like that the name definitely means something, but it's not necessarily, like you said, just like in it they're like, we killed 1,000 people.
It's meant to grab attention, like the movies of that time period that it's
well,
trying to
since
emulate.
You are talking about movies, I think it's super cool that there were tons of Universal classic monster references in this movie.
Yes.
Like a ton.
And here are all, like, we're just going to be dropping these fun facts in. So there was a lot of Universal monster movie, callbacks.
Yeah, we saw Creatures of the
imagery.
Black Lagoon. Like, there was The Mask, there was a poster. They had...
Movies were on TVs that were playing, like the black and white movies, like...
The ones that we've been watching for prep were showing up through this movie, and I was like, we just watched Wolfman. There it is. This is nuts. Like...
And how they were able to have all of that is actually Universal Pictures produced this originally and then refused to release it.
That was the NC-17 worry about the rating that I mentioned in the first half. That's why they had these Universal Classic Monsters, was Universal was producing it, but then they didn't, and they had to get a new production company. So it was actually released a few years after it was filmed. Mm-hmm. And even some of the films were, this is what I was going to mention in the first half and decided to hold on to it, was that some of those scenes were actually filmed in Rob Zombie's basement.
Yes.
Like, how crazy is that?
The cutaway character monologues were shot in his basement after the main movie was done so that he could splice in those cutaway moments. And it all, again, was just so well done.
Yeah.
I can't get over, like, just the way the vision, how it was presented. Like, it was crazy. It was all over the place, but it made sense in and of itself, and it just worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie makes me want to watch the other Rob Zombie movies, but also makes me
not all at once.
Oh, no. There's no way I could handle, like, a Rob Zombie movie marathon.
Right.
Like, I would freak out. I couldn't do it. But I'm just saying, if they ever announced another Rob Zombie house or whatever, I would be looking forward to actually watching that movie. Or, if I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like February and I haven't had a scary movie announcement for Halloween Horror Nights, let's watch something. Maybe that's what I'm going to, like, make us watch something else.
Yeah. Another, like, quick fun fact, too, is obviously, like, one of the Firefly family is Rob Zombie's wife.
Yes.
Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah, and I told Mike I wanted to be her for Halloween, and he was like, no. But I loved that also, that guys, one of my favorite scenes was when they went to go buy alcohol, and this guy's name tag was G. Ober, and he was like, oh, my coworker added an O, so his name was like Goober. It was like my favorite dialogue part. It was so funny. I loved it. That was like the best part. That and the beginning when the gas station was robbed. Like that really like, it was so different from the rest of the movie.
It was, and it was, again, just part of, like, the world building of this. Like, it sets the tone and draws you in with also comedy.
Yes.
It wasn't just, like, you know, crank it to 11, horror, scary, ripping people apart. Like, there was, like I said, the endearing parts.
Yeah.
Like, the comedy
the dialogue
of it. The dialogue.
And stuff. I really loved the dialogue.
Characters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Should we start delving into what scenes we think are going to be in the house? Because then that kind of also walks us through the rest of the movie.
Yes. Obviously.
Okay. So, obviously, the gas station and murder ride, I think, will be a part of the house.
Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen.
Yeah, and I want to see the neon light flickering. I want to see like the
clown
desolate.
out front.
Yes, I feel like the clown is going to be like
clown.
a huge jump scare. Like this just like scary animatronic clown is gonna he's gonna freak me out. Even if it's not even a person, he'll probably just be like an automatic thing, and I'll be like, oh, even though I know it's coming. And then the murder ride and stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, like, think of how cool it is that there's going to be all these hints to Universal monsters in this house probably, too. So I hope this is behind the horror, Unmasking the Horror tour.
It's also going to be, like, synergistic, too, because they're also doing a classic monsters house.
So what if there's, like, something alluding to House of a Thousand Corpses?
Cafe.
Yes. Oh, there's just so much
Boom.
like stuff that
Mind
could be
is
crossover.
blown, right? Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're gonna like go to the gas station, go through like the weird store. I think we're gonna go through the murder ride.
See Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're obviously gonna end up going to the house, the Firefly house.
Yes. Of course.
And I think that we're going to walk through maybe the dinner, but also definitely the family talent show.
Sure, yeah.
Where you see the girl, like, singing on stage and stuff.
The Betty Boop song.
Yeah, I feel like for sure that's going to happen.
Which also Betty Boop. Universal.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Exactly. The connections are, like, it's crazy to think about.
We know we're going to see Fish Boy, and I think they mentioned the dead cheerleaders, too.
AKA Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
We were correct, by the way, because he
died pretty quick.
Last that long.
Yeah, no.
Although he did mention, like, at the beginning, I'm more of a spaceman, and I was like, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it was funny.
Anyway.
But yeah, he ends up being Fish Boy, which is actually him dead. They, like, cut off his hands and, like, put, like, weird
They made him into a fish.
Yeah, like a merman, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was disgusting.
Yes, pretty much.
Do you think there's going to be anything else before we end up in, like, the underground? Any other scenes that we might... Oh, like the cheerleader room, maybe, where they're all, like, tied up
shed.
and stuff. Yeah, the shed.
The shed out back, probably.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to be like we're walking through it all, because the shed's out back, so, like, we'll walk through the house, then out back, and then we'll go to the graveyard woods area,
where
then
there's
go
all
down
the crosses.
into the tunnel. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then, like, it'll simulate somehow...
They ended
up putting two of the characters in a coffin and then, like, sending them down underground to Dr. Satan to be...
Slight pause.
Yeah.
I hope we hear, "Run, rabbit, run!"
Oh, we better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're going to hear the entire soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially since there isn't that much to, like, for, like, those big quotes. Those big quotable quotes, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, so they ended up putting two of the characters into a coffin together and, like, put them down into the caves.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I feel like they're going to have to simulate that somehow, and then we're going to end up walking through, like, the maze tunnels and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
for
like,
sure.
having those people, like, some, like, old guy in a bunny suit and stuff. But then also... there was just, like, this whole row of corpses and skeletons with cobwebs and all this stuff, and it was disgusting, and we're totally gonna walk through it.
Yeah, it's the way that this movie was with, like, the slow ramp up of, like, the, like, so not scary, it's comical.
Yeah.
Through the rest
it is
of
just horrifying.
It just, the dial keeps turning
Yeah.
from funny to actually scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like the house as we walk through is going to follow the same tone
Yeah.
and same tenor that the movie took from location and time
Yeah.
in the film. It's going to mirror it exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like the house experience is going to be like you're watching, air quotes,
Yes.
you know, going through the movie.
Yeah.
Scene by scene.
But probably as one of the people, you know, like you're going to be a target.
Oh,
especially
sure.
in the tunnels
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of characters, too, that are going to be able to do, like, the jump scares or the come out at you.
I'm just nervous I'm going to miss some of them, you know, so I'm going to have to go through multiple times. But then I think, so the last scene I think we're going to see is at the end of, like, the tunnel and stuff would be Dr. Satan himself performing operations and things like that. Because that's kind of where it ends,
that would be the climax of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we're pretty much just, like, shoved out.
You're shoved out of the house and you're just like, what just happened?
Yeah. So I'm concerned only because, like, are they going to somehow, like, mess with my mind in this house? Like, because there were some scenes that the colors were kind of like heat transfer cameras or something.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of like you're looking for Bigfoot. I don't know. But, like, not. But are they going to somehow simulate that to mess with you in the house?
Of course.
I'm just nervous about it. I don't want to get a headache because I'm old.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
No, I think, I mean, how can they, like, completely shift the way that you view everything?
I just don't want to walk through so many tunnels. The spinning tunnels.
Yeah, no, I think what they might do is just have TVs on as you walk through that are, like, just showing clips from the movie.
Okay.
Like what you're describing.
Yeah.
They'll just be, like, clips on repeat on a
Sure.
TV screen, I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Okay. I mean...
That's my theory.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So, what do you think of the house? Are you excited for it?
The announcement?
Yeah.
Because I haven't gone through the house yet.
Well, I know, but, like, what do you think about the announcement of House of a Thousand Corpses? Now that we watched it, we gave our thoughts on the movie, we told everybody what we think to expect. What do you think?
Man, I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but this is the top contender.
Really?
For one of my most anticipated.
Wow.
Definitely for IPs. And it's just because the sheer amount of characters that can be in this house, scenes that can be in this house.
Yeah.
It's also just from its core inspired by and paying homage to horror as a genre and the original classic Universal monster movies, which, again, there's going to be a house of them here. There's a cafe that's there where we're going to have scare actor dining. It's like and we'll be at Universal. Like, my mind is blown by how, like, just full of an experience that this house could possibly be, from like the origins of why this movie was even made to then coming back home. Now this movie that was made by this studio and these
and then
IPs,
they didn't even release it, and like
they didn't even release it because they were too worried that it was too much, and now they're bringing it back home. You know, it's just it's like a symmetry, right? Like, it's just so crazy to think about. It's so meta. It's like the most it would be the most meta thing ever. Imagine being in Universal, walking through a movie that Universal produced and didn't release, seeing a bunch of Universal properties referenced in the house. And then you walk outside and you're in Universal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
that's so crazy.
It's gonna be so nuts to think about. So I'm excited for the uniqueness that this house will bring. Not so much the property in and of itself, the movie, but just the uniqueness of what the movie represents, where it's going to be for this event. Yeah,
that's a really awesome way to think about it.
What about you? You're nervous, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly can't wrap my head around all of the amazing announcements that we've had so far. Like, I need a little bit to recreate my list in my mind, you know?
Totally. Totally. I don't feel prepared to give an official.
I'm so excited for all the houses this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they're all awesome. I'll tell you what my least favorite announcement is. Vikings Undead in a Scare Zone. That is my like, I don't even care that that's been announced. Everything else, I am like at a 10 or like 11 even for excitement because this is going to be an awesome year. But like Vikings Undead, womp womp. But maybe I'll be eating those words after we go.
Oh, maybe. Well, and that's the other thing, too, is, as we've mentioned multiple times, that sometimes the scare zones in the houses that you write off are the best and you just love them. And sometimes the ones that you're most looking forward to are just such letdowns.
Yeah.
So,
but we will have an official,
pre-Halloween Horror Nights
anticipation list for you guys that we'll release. It'll be after the event actually begins and stuff, so, but we won't have gone until later. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, you guys already have our Scare Zone anticipation list in our Scare Zone announcement, but watch for the episode that has
for the houses.
All 10 houses for our list of anticipation.
Absolutely.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't, because the thing is, there's no real way to kind of explain this movie and what the house could mean. You just have to see it.
You'd have to see it, and I honestly I can't recommend it to most people because I know it would be too much for some people.
Yeah, it is intense. It's intense to watch, but I mean, what always helps me is just understanding the context, right? I mean, it's difficult where you want to be immersed in the movie to enjoy it, but you also have to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
Like, recognize this is just a movie.
Yeah.
Right? So that balance of being into the movie to enjoy it, but also to understanding it's just a movie.
Yeah. Well, I still find Texas Chainsaw Massacre the scariest one that I've seen still so far.
Which we've talked about too, what you personally find scary are the actual, like, the crazy people ones, the psychotic killers, like
those
real,
and paranormal,
the real people stuff is what gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, and they waited till, like, the end to announce the paranormal house and the insane,
the things
crazy,
that could
chaotic house.
Yeah.
So, I'm hyped, though. I'm ready for it. So, I think with that, we'll end our episode. So, stay spooky, spookers.
See you guys.